Manchester United have gone with Michael Carrick as head coach until the end of the season. When Ruben Amorim was sacked last week, people close to him said the Portuguese coach had been surprised and struggled with the sheer volume of noise at Old Trafford. Amorim confided with his friends to say how impossible it was to fully prepare and predict what the unique challenges were of being the main man at Manchester United. United bosses weren't about to make that same mistake twice. That is why their shortlist of candidates was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ruud van Nistelrooy and Michael Carrick. The club hierarchy, led by Director of Football Jason Wilcox, wanted someone who knows the club, who has experienced the pressure and the expectation and would feel comfortable in a difficult environment where the spotlight is binding. And with the mood among fan base still fueled frustration, remembering glory helps. Carrick was up front and central in that glorious past. As a player under Sir Alex, he won 5 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 1 Europa League, 1 FA Cup, 2 League Cups and 1 Club World Cup. His first taste of coaching was at Old Trafford under Jose Mourinho, and he had short stints at caretaker boss either side of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's spell in charge. United bosses are as confident as they can be that he won't be phased stepping back into that environment. It's clear the club hierarchy didn't want to change head coach mid-season, but with poor results and a total breakdown in the relationship with Amorim, the club was forced to act. Many fans and commentators were asked why United couldn't appoint a new high-profile manager straight away, but the reality is Manchester United doesn't have the same pool for the world's elite coaches that it did a decade ago. There's no European football, budgets are tight, there's still a major restructuring of the club taking place, and it was sensible for the club to take a pragmatic approach, save the big decision about the big boss until the summer where big names will be available. Once the decision was made, it was a question of who's best to run things and give the team the best chance to achieve European football next season. That man, it was decided, was Carrick, and even though he has no one else on his coaching staff that's ever worked with Steve Holland before, there was a unanimous feeling that his experience and tactical analysis could provide invaluable. Importantly, he was able to start immediately and without the need to pay compensation. Other key factors in Carrick's appointments were his familiarity with the structure of power at United. Wilcox works closely with the head coach over the strategy, philosophy and team selection. Ultimately, there were significant differences of opinion and Amorim's reluctance to align tactically with Wilcox that saw him get the boot. Carrick made it clear he was happy to work within United's existing systems, pointing out that he did so effectively at Middlesbrough, where they had a head of football in Kieran Scott. He also impressed in an interview in terms of his ability to lead the teams and his strong knowledge of the players already at the club. Some times criticised for lack of adaptability at Middlesbrough, he stuck true to his footballing philosophy, one where dominating football and the opposition was the primary game plan. That aligns with the type of football Wilcox wants. But what about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? The noise from Ole's camp early on was that he was not just interested in the role, he was a favourite. That was noticed inside Carrington with amusement, considering they were clear no decision would be made until they sat down with the candidates. Multiple people have said that Carrick's face-to-face meeting last Thursday, United were left impressed, more so than for Solskjaer. As mentioned, his philosophy and tactical approach undoubtedly made an impact on the likes of Wilcox and Barada, but his willingness to take on a role with no guarantee of a permanent role was also to his advantage. Solskjaer wanted a permanent option if he performed well in the role, a desire which left the United hierarchy not willing to entertain. Clearly the role was until the end of the season. It's also been considered that potential return for Solskjaer, who was manager under the previous regime, could be interpreted as a backward step. After consistent messaging around Ineos being forward-thinking, questions would have to be asked about bringing back an old manager. Popular with the fan base, yes, but it would still be a difficult sell. And so Carrick begins his limited reign as United's main man. As things stand, it's unlikely he'll be considered for a longer term role with the likes of Thomas Tuchel, Oliver Glasner, Carlo Ancelotti, Luis Enrique, Marco Silva, etc. all in the mix. But the hope is that his appointment will prove to be a positive one for both the coach and the club he heads. He needs to hit the ground running and will likely be given a little leeway early on. But of course, his first 2 games are Manchester City at home and Arsenal away. So yeah, it's not going to get much tougher than that, really, is it? Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily football news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.